Well, with us now, Devin O'Malley, spokesperson for the Pence campaign. He's right there in Milwaukee as well, inside the spin room. Devin, good to see you. You know, the former vice president.
Hi, Kara, how are you?
Hey, it's great to have you with us. Let's talk about the former vice president and just the polling right now. You know, single digits. And he's even been booed out on the trail, notably at the NRA convention in his home state just back in April. So tell us, Devin, is this a make or break moment for him, and how does he plan to stand out tonight?
Yeah, it's good to be with you, Kira. Thanks for having me. Mike Pence, we like to say, is known well, but not well known, despite serving as vice president for 4 years and successful governor of Indiana and a conservative leader in the House. We've been traveling all over Iowa and New Hampshire, meeting with caucus goers and primary voters, and having those conversations about how he's been in the fight for the last 30 years. And really, you know, I think that Mike Pence stands above the rest of the candidates on that stage today when it comes to being a consistent conservative, when it comes to being a man of uncommon character, and a man that has just an uncanny ability to lead and to really serve on day one. And so, you mentioned the NRA event, but that's really, not at all the reception that he gets out on the trail. Great attendance at events and a great reception, and we're looking to show that contrast on leadership and character and on policy tonight.
So, Devin, regardless of what happens in this campaign, Mike Pence will go down in history as, not to put too fine a point on it, the man who saved the republic. He had a choice in that moment. He could have gone, or at least wiggled a little bit with Donald Trump's demand that he hold up the certification of the election, but he didn't. And I've heard him on the campaign trail. It's a very dramatic moment as he talks about it to voters. But he doesn't take on Trump. Now, how do you run against someone without, especially someone like Donald Trump, who tried to do that, and Trump and Pence stopped him? Why doesn't he take on Trump?
Well, I think, first and foremost, Mike Pence is a man, if he has policy disagreements, we'll have that conversation and we'll draw that comparison and contrast. But when he ran for the House a number of years ago, he made a point to never run a negative campaign. That's not who he is at his core, as a man of deep faith. But we are happy to engage on January 6th. I think you've heard Mike Pence, speak very candidly and with strength about what he could do on that day, and ultimately, as you said, right, he upheld his duty to the Constitution, and by God's grace, it went back and certified the election that night, and so we're going to have that conversation. What Donald Trump was wrong then, and he continues to be wrong now on that issue, and Mike Pence is not at all afraid to say that.
And so if the Republican race were down to just Mike Pence and Donald Trump, in a one-on-one debate, you say, well, he doesn't want to do a negative campaign, but there's only two arguments in every campaign. I'm right and the other guy's wrong. Would we see more of that?
Sure. Well, I think, as you've probably heard Mike say, Terry, somebody like Donald Trump who asks another person to put themselves before the Constitution, should never be president. And so I think that's the starting point, right? Mike Pence laid that foundation for his campaign when he launched back in June. But there are policy differences too. There are a number of differences, on where they stand on the issues, including the First Step Act, which, Mike has repeatedly said that he'd consider working to repeal. Is a bill that lets criminals out, and we already have a problem with crime in a lot of these democratically controlled cities across the country. And one of Donald Trump and frankly Tim Scott's biggest policy accomplishments is that First Step Act, which actually contributes to that issue. So there's a lot of policy contrast. We're happy to have that conversation. But as Mike Pence says, we need a government as good as its people, and he's looking to restore civility back to that process.
So, Devin, before you go, Pence has really become quite a divisive figure, even with his own party now. So how's he going to unite Republicans if he wins the nomination? In particular, those Trump loyalists who disavowed him.
Sure. I mean, just turn on the news every day, Kira, and you see that Americans are struggling. Inflation is up 17% since the Biden administration was inaugurated back in January of 21. Americans are struggling. And they're looking for a return to the strength and prosperity they had when Mike was vice president. And so, you know, a successful campaign has a positive vision for the future, plans to tackle the problems, whether it's the ailing economy, the crime that we're seeing across the country, the drug crisis that we're seeing, the open borders that we're seeing, and you know, frankly, a return to energy independence and dominance that we had again when Mike was vice president. And so we're laying out that vision, we're laying out that agenda, and ultimately that's how you build consensus and that's how you win.
All right, Devin O'Malley with the Pence campaign. Thanks very much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.